A new generation of Simucube sim racing hardware has arrived. Yes, we have the launch of a new direct drive wheelbase range, along with a bunch of new accessories, and also a new steering wheel. So as you can see, we've got our hands on this new stuff, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you all of the information you need to know about this wheelbase, the steering wheel, and the accessories. So I think the best place to start would be the very heavy Simucube 3 wheelbase. The previous range, the Simucube 2, launched back in 2019, so it's been 6 years, and to be honest, it's remained one of, if not the standard setter for direct drive wheelbases in the sim racing market, especially for those looking to take their sim racing pretty serious. The range included 3 separate tiers. You had the entry-level Sport, the mid-level Pro, and the high-level Ultimate, although none of these were in any way entry or mid-level. It was like a tier system within the high end of the sim racing market. I've been using the Simucube 2 Pro base on my rig now for quite a while, and I have to say I absolutely love it. So why the need for the update? Well, 4 years ago, Simucube launched the first force feedback utilising active pedal, and this product was also used to introduce a new form of connectivity technology, going by the name of Simucube Link. Now I'll explain a little more on what that actually means a little bit later on, but all you need to know is this new wave of technology wasn't available on the Simucube 2 because it was only created from 2022 onwards. So in order to bring wheelbases up to the modern technology, Simucube had to launch another range. Once again, there's going to be a 3-tier approach here, so you'll have the Simucube 3 Sport, the Simucube 3 Pro, and the Simucube 3 Ultimate. I have here in my hands the Simucube 3 Pro, which is once again the kind of middle of the range. The max torque numbers across the board are pretty similar. Last time with the Simucube 2, it was 17 Newton meters for the entry level, then 25, and then 32. This time it's 15, 25, and 35, so a little bit more uniform, but very similar max torque output. There are other differences, of course, that set the Simucube 3 apart from the Simucube 2. It's not to do with max torque, it's to do with the inner workings, the technology, the quick release system, link, these sorts of things that I'll come on to. I will bring the prices up on screen now in euros, pounds, and dollars so you can see how much it's going to cost. As you can see, there's not a massive hike in price between the Sport and the Pro, around about £250, but then there is a massive jump up to the Ultimate. Of course, they all have slightly different internals. In terms of dimensions, they're all the same height and same width, but as you upgrade the base, they all get a little bit longer. I'll also put the dimensions of the 3 bases on the screen for you now. And there's also a difference in warranty as well. You get a 3-year warranty if you opt for the Pro or the Sport, and you get a 5-year warranty if you wait for the Ultimate. I say wait because the Sport and the Pro are available to order as of today, so you can put your order in. The first batch are being sent out in early November. If you're going to go for the Ultimate, however, you will have to wait until 2026. A quick note to say that the Simucube 2 base will still be available to purchase alongside the Simucube 3, with a small discount until stock runs out, and support for the 2 will be continued, so don't worry if you own one already. I should clarify as well that when we're talking about the prices of these bases, it doesn't actually include a link hub. Now, if you already have a link hub, if you owned a Valo or an active pedal, then you don't need to buy a new one. However, you do need to buy a link hub if you don't have one already. They're around about 150 quid, and as I say, we'll talk more about that a little later on. Now, of course, what I can't talk to you about yet is how it actually feels to drive, which obviously is very important. We're waiting for the new software to be released so that we can actually test this wheelbase and get back to you on the feel and how it all works. So at the moment, we can just obviously take a look at it. What I can tell you, though, is what Simucube say it will feel like. They say that the Simucube 3 improves Simucube 2's hallmark smoothness while adding detail, professional level stability, and an easier learning curve and tuning. What I can actually say, though, with confidence is that based on the performance of the Simucube 2 and how the software has continued to be developed over the years, little improvements made, I would be very, very surprised if the Simucube 3 didn't feel fantastic to use. Obviously, to what extent, we're going to have to wait and see, but there is a way for you to test this base before November without even buying one, and that is by attending the Sim Racing Expo in Dortmund. Simucube will have a stand there where you can try the Simucube 3. Now, you might already be going to the Sim Racing Expo. It's between the 17th and 19th of October in Dortmund, Germany. But if you haven't got your ticket yet and you fancy going, use the code TRAXION and follow the link in the description in order to get yourself a 5% discount. So, taking a closer look at the base itself, it's similar in terms of its styling cues to the previous Simucube 2, but there are some differences. I actually think it looks a little bit nicer, but I mean, you're clutching at straws really. It's a little bit more of a uniform shape. You don't have the indented corners here, it's just a bit smoother. It is very heavy to hold in your hands, so when you're mounting it, and it's the same way to mount it either through the front or from the base, you will have to mount it very securely. On the back we've got ports for power, the SC Link, and also the control box, which I don't know if you can see there. And on the front, and this is the interesting part, we have an all-new quick release system. I've used the word link a lot, so it's probably time where I explained what I mean by that, and there's two different elements to this. Firstly, there's the actual Simucube Link product, which is essentially just a little black box that you can buy on the Simucube website. That's the product I mentioned earlier, which launched alongside the Active pedal in 2022, but essentially it's an alternative to a USB hub, for instance. So what it does is it connects to your PC via one USB cable, and then all of your new Simucube products should connect to the Link instead of your PC. It reduces the number of USB connections running into your PC, and it also therefore reduces the chance of EMI, or electromagnetic interference, which can cause power failures or disconnections, for instance. The second thing is the new Link Quick Release system, which is able to transfer both data and power wirelessly, thanks to new technology called Simucube Lightbridge. So instead of a steering wheel requiring a charged battery to work, with this quick release it should just work, like magic. I'm not an engineer or an electrician, far from it, so I'm not going to dive deeper into what that actually means, but for the consumer that's basically what you need to know. It's a new form of wireless technology, and all Simucube products going forward are going to utilise this. The other interesting thing is it's a different shape for the quick release as well. It's called a P3G polygon, and essentially the shape is engineered in a way that reduces stress and movement in high torque situations, so hopefully improving reliability and strength of the overall product. Now, as ever with new quick releases being introduced to an ecosystem, it creates some issues. It creates a lot of compatibility questions. Will your old wheels work? What sort of adapters will you need? And that's where the new accessories come in. So I'm going to explain those to you as well, so you have an idea of what can be used with this new quick release system. Now we'll start by looking at the wheel side quick release system. Now I'm going to look more at the wheel in a little bit, but the quick release system itself can be purchased separately and attached to an existing wheel. And with that, you'll be able to mount your existing steering wheels or even third-party wheels to your Simucube 3 wheelbase without needing a new Simucube steering wheel. There's a whole new range of adapters and bits that have been launched as well, which are going to help with compatibility. First of all, there's this 50.8 to 70mm adapter, which allows you to use a third-party wheel that has a 50.8mm mounting pattern. Then there's the Link Quick Release adapter for the Simucube 2, which essentially allows you to change the quick release system on your Simucube 2 base to the system from the Simucube 3 base. However, be careful with that, it is mechanical only, so it doesn't give you the new Link wireless technology that charges your steering wheel as you're using it. You'll still have to use the battery power and stuff, but it does change the shape and change the way that it actually connects the wheelbase and the steering wheel. We also have this shaft extension kit, which lengthens the steering shaft coming from the wheelbase, allowing you to maybe mount your monitor in front of the base but behind the steering wheel, for instance, depending on your rig setup. They come with 200mm and 100mm options, so that's handy. And then finally, there's the Simucube 3 70mm adapter. So if you actually don't want to use the new Link Quick Release system on a Simucube 3, you want to change it to something else, something more simple with a 70mm mounting pattern, you can do that as well. And then you don't have to change all of the quick release systems and all of the wheels you own, you just have to change the base. But of course you will lose that fancy wireless technology. Prices for all of the accessories are up on screen now, so do feel free to pause it and take a screenshot. And bear in mind, all of these have been released today along with the base and the wheel. Just make sure that you do your research if you're thinking about buying this. Make sure you get the right bits that you're going to need and kind of make a decision on what you want your long-term ecosystem to look like, because this does feel like a kind of clean reset point for fancy new technology. So maybe you want all of your stuff to have this new tech going forward. It's totally up to you, but I just urge you to do your research and make sure you know what you're buying first. Right, it's finally time we take a closer look at the steering wheel. And this is the Simucube Savu. Savu is apparently the Finnish word for smoke, so let's hope that that's referring to the smoky looks and not some sort of reliability issue. The Savu comes in two variants, the Sport and the Pro, so the same nomenclature as the wheelbases. I've got the Pro, which is the slightly more expensive, fancier version. I'll talk about the differences here as well. I'll put the prices on screen now. As you can see, it's not a cheap steering wheel. You're looking at between £800 and £1,200 if you want one of these, so it is premium, but to be fair, it feels premium to me. Now, again, I haven't been able to actually use it on a base yet, but I can tell you from holding it, it's weighty, the grips feel lovely, there's really comfortable indents where you can place your thumbs, and just overall, I mean, if I try and flex it, absolutely nothing. I've had my hands on a few cheap wheels and a few expensive wheels in my time. This one feels premium. The chassis is aluminium with a black anodized and powder coated finish, looks really, really good. You've got silicon grips, you've also got aluminium encoders on there, and the button caps are plastic. But, loving the click. Now around the back you do of course have the new Link Quick Release system. You also have 6 paddles that you can see there. So you've got regular shifter paddles which have a pretty strong actuation. It's not very loud at all, but at the same time it does feel pretty purposeful. You also have additional shifters at the top which are optional, so you can add them on. This one's got them, you don't have to have those additional shifters. And you also have the clutch paddles at the bottom, so you can do your good starts, or if you're me, your bad starts because you haven't calibrated it properly. You will be able to purchase either a Simucube 2 or Simucube 3 compatible version of the Savu. The 3 will be powered via the Lightbridge tech and the Link Quick Release, whilst the Simucube 2 version will have the previous Quick Release as standard, and a battery that should give you 30 to 60 hours of wireless action. This version will also be upgradable if you switch to a 3 base further down the line. I have of course had a little bit of a play around attaching the steering wheel, taking it back off again just to see how it all feels, and honestly it works pretty nice and smoothly. There's not really any notchiness, it's not difficult to get on and off, which is nice. We'll show you the front of the steering wheel because that's very important for sim racers. There's actually quite a big difference here between the Sport and the Pro variants. We've got the Pro, the Sport is missing quite a few of these things. So both variants for a start have the 12 RGB backlit buttons, which are all within a thumb's reach easily. These bottom 3 on each side are maybe a little bit more of a stretch, but it's absolutely fine. Also, both variants have these thumb encoders located just above the grips, so that's great. And they also have 2 7-position switches here, which can be clicked down, rotated, up, down, left, right, one on each side. Great for gaming, for menus, etc. That, however, is where things come to an end for the Sport version. Only the Pro version has these 2 12-position multi-position switches at the bottom. Only the Pro version has these 3 additional encoders on the front, which are also clickable and backlit. Only the Pro version has these additional thumb encoders as well. You can already see a huge difference there in the amount of inputs that you'll be able to do while driving, and only the Pro version has the RGB rev strips along the top as well. The weight feels about right. It's 1750 kilograms for the Pro, 1700 for the Sport. Both come with a 3-year warranty as well, and dimensions wise I'll put them on screen now, but the interesting thing for me is the width. This is a 295mm wheel. Now I think that's okay. I personally prefer the feel of driving with a slightly narrower GT or Formula style wheel. I like around 280, 285. 295 is fine, but if you're used to 280, you will notice it feeling pretty wide. This is totally down to personal opinion. A lot of wheels these days are 300 or even wider. I just think it's noticeably wide for me and it takes a little bit of getting used to. However, I'm going to be very happy to get used to this wheel because I do think it's one of the prettiest wheels I've seen in a long time. Of course, once we get our hands on the updated software, we'll get the base on the rig, get the steering wheel on, and give it all a test for you. We'll let you know how we find it, what sort of effects are there, adjustments can be made, how it compares to previous Simucube bases, etc, etc. But based on all the knowledge we've given you today and all the information, are you excited for the new era of Simucube? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave us a like if you've enjoyed the video, keep an eye on the Traxion website on a daily basis for any updates, and of course, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any of our future videos. Until next time, thanks for watching and have a great day.